tłumaczeniu. Florian Kunz jest pasjonatem muzyki od dzieciństwa w branży audio. Pracuje już od ponad 10 lat. Ma także doświadczenie w organizacji eventów kulturalnych. Nawet do 10 000 widzów. Pracuje dla liderów branży profesjonalnego dźwięku w regionie centralnej i wschodniej Europy. Nadzorując projekty instalacyjne w teatrach, centrach kultury, filharmoniach, a także na stadionach, w hotelach i lotniskach. Willi Klein przez 30 lat kariery zawodowej pracował jako realizator dźwięku m.in. dla firm Warner, Universal i Sony Music. W jego portfolio znajdują się tacy artyści jak Eric Clapton, Lenny Kravitz, Carlos Santana, Robbie Williams, Mariah Carey czy Rod Stewart. Za chwilę przekonają się Państwo, że hiperrealistyczny dźwięk przestrzenny w widowisku teatralnym jest możliwy. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Florian Kunz and Mr. Willi Klein. Welcome.
Dziękuję. Dzień dobry.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. So it's
Slide.
okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Florian Kunz. This is my colleague Willi Klein.
Hello.
We are working for the company LAcoustics. The company LAcoustics is the global market leader for professional sound reinforcement. When you go to festivals like Coachella or Tomorrowland, you can see our products on stage, like you can see it here. We have also nice installations, like for example in the Philharmonie of Paris or here in Warsaw on this stage. The company, I would like to tell something about the history of our company. The company was founded by Mr. Christian Heil in 1984 in a small village near Paris, in his wonderful farm, which you can see here on the picture. So he is actually a physician, and he was on a show of Pink Floyd, and he was impressed about the show, about the sound, about lighting. But from his point of view, he said, "We can do something better and maybe more efficient for rental companies and also for sound engineers." So therefore, he decided to don't work furthermore as a scientist. He started his own company together with his wife and a friend. So, and after some years of education, development, and some other products he developed, he made a really nice product, which was the first line array technology, and this changed the whole industry since 1992. As you can see here on that picture, on top you see a show from Johnny Clegg in Nîmes at 1988. On the left and side right there are the towers of sound, you know, so you had big walls with amps and loudspeakers, and you needed a lot of weight and volume to deliver a sound which was loud enough to reach all the people in the whole audience. So, and that was not efficient. You needed a lot of trucks, you needed a lot of people, you need more time, and it was not that way you should work at the end of the 20th century. So, and therefore, he came up with the line array technology. So that means that you put many loudspeakers under one column, and you can reach a further destination or a radius as with other point source loudspeakers. So, but I'm not the guy to tell something about technology. This is Willi Klein. He will tell you more about, especially about ELISA technology. Today we are a global organization. As I said, we started in 1984 with Christian, his wife, and a friend. So today we are globally working. We have all over the world distributors like Audio Plus. Thank you very much for the invitation, by the way. We have offices in Los Angeles, New York, Paris, where our headquarters is, and the factory. Also in Germany, where we are developing and producing our electronics, which is, for example, an amplifier or controller. So these are the engines for those who have no idea about sound and how we work, you know. So, and then we are offering or opening also soon a few other offices around the world. And So to give you a small overview about especially the last 5 to 6 years, this gave us again another increase. So we are a technology-driven company. We have 25% people working in the R&D. That is a lot compared to other companies, not also in the sound industry, also in other industries. On top, we have 47% working in our factories. All products are made in Europe, either in France or in Germany. This is part of our philosophy and of our understanding of quality. So everything is in one hand. So we are not, so we don't need to wait for other people. We can make our own decisions very fast and be more efficient. And only 10% are working in sales or in marketing. And by end of 2019, we were about 500 people, and by end of this year, we will be around 600. It depends if we will find the right people. So, but this is the idea, because we are still growing, and due to our new technology, which you are listening at the moment, and maybe you can recognize already when I'm moving or walking on the stage. So the sound is following me a little bit. Otherwise, it would just stay as it is, actually. The company itself, when you are growing, you need also more people, and compared to other companies who have an investor or bank or whatever, Christian decided to share his success with the people who helped him to make the company big, and those people you see here on the picture. Christian is on the left, and Hervé Guillaume, his friend, he is responsible for the business when Christian is taking care of the technology and the future of the sound industry. So yeah, as a sound company, electronics company, and a producer, we are of course a technology-driven company. So we are spending a lot of time in new technologies like microsystems or further electronics, and so we have a huge amount of scientists, and of course we're spending a lot of time and efforts in training, application, and education. So from my point of view, these 3 columns are the main reason why we are that successful. So when there is a new installation, like here, for example, we're working with a system integrator, with a distributor. We double check if the sound is good or not. What could be better? We are offering other solutions if possible or is needed. And we're not just selling something. When the job is done, when the system is installed and running. So we are also visiting customers or venues and helping the local engineers or the people who are running the system to know how to run the system. Because at the end, the sound is our product and our result, and people are measuring us because of the result of the sound. So yeah, education is also a big part. We are offering every week, almost every week globally, trainings and seminars in different languages, of course. This is a huge success. So we're spending about 3,000 hours, I guess, 3,500 hours last year in trainings and seminars. And we are always happy if especially new people are coming, young people, talented people, or even specialists who are touring since 30 years and they still are motivated to learn something. Or we can learn also from our customers, for sure. So, and now I'm coming to that point that we are going deeper in detail and more in technology, and therefore I'm really happy to welcome my colleague Willi Klein on stage.
Yep.
And he will tell you more about this exciting technology. So, thank you, Willi.
Hey, everyone.
Have fun.
Dzień dobry. My name is Willi Klein. I'm very sorry. That was the only word, pretty much, I spoke in Polish. I'm very sorry. So, I am an application engineer for LAcoustics for this region. And I will do a little LISA demonstration for you, so you know what we are talking about. This is how we started. We go a little bit back in time. And as you can see, it's a pop band from Liverpool, whatever their name was, and they were playing in the stadium. And I hope this works now, maybe. And this was the PA. a little bit shy, and that's actually one of the reasons the Beatles stopped playing live was it is not enough PA, and they couldn't hear themselves over the screaming young ladies in the back. So, where were we? That's in the 60s. In the 60s, we had desks that had maybe 8 channel, maybe 12 if you were lucky. You had amplifiers who had around 100 watts, maybe 150 maximum. You see this column where the band is walking off, which is now used in churches. And the media of the time was a record, vinyl record. I don't know how many people remember vinyl records. I do, because I'm old, but the format of that time was stereo. Then we do a little jump in the history. We move forward to the glorious 80s. In the 80s, we had enormous analog desks who could do amazing things. They had 4-way parametric EQs, low cut, many faders, up to 48 input channels. We had analog amplifiers who could do 1,000 watts within 3 units. We had a large amount of PA in the stadium, as you can see, a lot of speakers. So we gained more quantity. The format at that time was the famous CD, and all that was still in stereo. So, where are we now today? So today, we have an amplifier rack, which has around 38,000 watts. We have digital desks, which almost unlimited possibilities. We have a PA system that goes down to 30 hertz or 31 hertz. It throws about 100 meters, does a lot of output. We have iPods or iPhones nowadays, but the format is still stereo. As you can see, this is a picture of a Coachella Festival. And the Coachella Festival, I think, at the moment is biggest festival in the world, pretty much, with a lot of stages. But the only thing you see here is the left and right, or dual mono. So therefore, where can we go? New drivers, louder. I think modern shows are loud enough, so we thought we'd do something different and try to improve immersive sound to make it more natural, as you can see. So therefore, in 1 minute, you will listen to a classic track, which is Marina Rebecca, which will start in Lisa. And it will then swap to stereo, and it will label be stereo or Elisa for you to listen. Have fun? Yep. Okay, so what we're at here is the comparison between stereo, as modern PAs at the moment today, and ELISA. What you probably have heard that if you have stereo, as you can see on the left-hand side, you have a zone where you can actually hear the panorama, which is something like 15 to 20% in the center, depending on the PA. Where, as in ELISA, as we have more hangs, our spatial zone is bigger. So, therefore, with the stereo, you have a limited panning range, where with the ELISA, you have a panning freedom. So, because I'm on black track, the lighting follows me, so does the sound. So, one walk across. Oh, that's fine. Take a picture, that's fine. So we walk across and the panning follows me, but that can also be done by the fine gentleman up there. So the next thing you have, when you have two sources overlaying in the center, you have comb filtering effects. With ELISA, you have no interference because as it follows along with me, I'm now on this hang above, it moves with me. And now I'm now in the center, and it moves along, and I see all your heads following me, hopefully not just due to the light, to the sound as well. So what we have is, as we very often cover, we never cover everything in the audience, as you never did with stereo. If you imagine two stereo PAs, you always have fill zones, like in the very front row, you will always have that. But with ELISA, we not only cover, as you can see, this is something like 15 to 20%, and on the right-hand zone, that there's the coverage for the spatial experience is much bigger. So, therefore, when you mix something in stereo only, it overlays. You have instruments coming out of the same source, they overlay. With ELISA, you have the freedom to choose where they go. It could be either like a natural sound, like in this classics example. You want to put the orchestra where it goes and where they are on stage. So you put like the first and second violins over here and you put like basses over there. Or you can design by yourself for a corporate event or anything. So, what do we rely on? We rely on 3 posts. The first one is design, then processing, and then control. Design. We have a software that is called Sound Vision, which is shows the implementation of our loudspeakers in a room model. So we create a room model, which can be coming from a DWG file or a CAD file from architects, which can be measured with people. We create a room model. After the room model, we use our complex software to develop something and to see where we're at with our speakers. So this example is the Hollywood Bowl. On the right-hand side, you see that. On the left-hand side, you see the room model. On the left and the middle, you see the SPL function. So we see there's one speaker hang in the center, and we can see how it distributes across the whole venue, depending on the frequency. And on the right-hand side, we have the possibility to do a quality mapping with several hangs. So we can predict how it's going to be. And as you can see, we do cover 98%. We have a share with 92.3% compared to the smaller zone in the center. As you have in the near the stage, as you can see, the spatial effect is a little less because you're in the fill zone. Processing. Up there with my friends on the sound team, we do have a ELISA processor. We've had a record on the market to see if we could buy something which is already there and use it, but it wouldn't fulfill what we'd like to. So we developed our own processor, which can do 96 objects and 48 outputs for speakers. We define things that we put in ELISA zone an object and not a microphone, because we use spatial, the space on stage, so we can put things in the front, in the back, to the side. So it has a spatial knowledge, so we call it an object. As you have seen in the beginning, the processor, when we do an installation like here, we import our sound vision file that we had before, and the processor then knows where all the speakers are in this room. It knows the dimension. And the room engine of this processor always calculates to make sure that the first wave comes to the people first, so they always look on the stage and then reflections later. We do pan, as we already showed you, left and right. We do width. In my case, please no more width, as you can see. And then we do distance. So if I go further in the back, if I move around, and this follows me, and then I can come closer to the front, and you will see it will sound different. And then we have elevation as well, which we couldn't demonstrate here because we could not fly any speakers on the roof there. So, control-wise. We do have ELISA controller. And this controller software is great because it allows us to do a lot of things. For example, you can set stuff. I think we have a controller demo room later on. You can put pretty much anything, any object where you like. You can group objects. You can have stereo objects if you like. You can group like a group of violins or actors if they are tracked, or put them in a group and zone them somewhere. You can change their width, saying they're closer together. You can move them around wherever you like. We have, for all modern brands, in this picture is Digico, Yamaha, Avid, of course. They all have so-called desk links, so you can control ELISA software from the desk for the 4 parameters I mentioned earlier. The other thing is that we work with tracking systems, as you can see. In this case, this is a black track system, but we do other tracking systems as well. And I've written down the stage tracker or ZAC track, for example, and there are others. And it's constantly evolving as its ELISA is evolving. And we work with any kind of multi-track surface. Doesn't matter if it's a Reaper or a Pro Tools or Ableton Live or whatever you have, Nuendo. And we work with LAcoustics because this is done by the video guys and sent to our processor. So that's what we do work with. In the back here, you can see some examples that we have done already in the past. I think at the moment, I'm not sure, we're around 5,000 shows that we've done with ELISA, and something like in the range of 5 million people that came to the show to experience ELISA. On the left-hand side, you see BBC Last Night of the Proms in the Royal Albert Hall. The center one is Ennio Morricone in the Forum Arena in Milano. And then we have Harry Potter in Sydney for the orchestral bit. Yeah, and we have done, to go back, bad me. Orchestral one in Poland. It was actually my first show I did with some fine gentlemen. We did someone from Poland. His name is, I can't pronounce, Zbigniew Preisner, yeah? But I don't know. Zbigniew, I'm sorry, Zbigniew Preisner. That was great because we have put in classical orchestras playing his film music into an arena venue. And the thing was not the sound with flying stars or something, but it was a very natural sounding event. I liked it a lot, I have to say. Right, then we have touring experience, as we have Lordi on the left, and then we have
Mark Knopfler.
Mark Knopfler. Who was that? Well done. Have you been to Mark Knopfler? Have you been to the Mark Knopfler show? Did you like it? Thank God. So we then have some installs on the right-hand side. That's a club in Russia.
Yeah, it's a nightclub in Moscow.
That's a nightclub in Moscow. Then we had Vegas Hotel was
MGM Grand.
MGM Grand with Aerosmith, and Lady Gaga did after. They did like 4 weeks, and then the other one, and then back and forth.
Yeah, they did together about 80 shows as residential. Yeah.
And we then have a club called The Earth in Hackney in London, where they have everything from a punk band to a comedian. And I think out of 150 shows they do per year, they always give guest engineers when they come in an option, would you like to mix ELISA or normal stereo? Out of 150 shows, only 2 wanted to do stereo. So, what else? Oh, famous Tonhalle Zürich. That might be well known in the orchestra world. Then we have this EDM festival, which is Tomorrowland in Belgium. And then we have another festival in Vietnam, I think that was.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
I have forgotten the name. I'm very sorry, my
Sorry,
bad.
yeah.
We have artists from Deadmau5, Al-J, and Bon Iver. Deadmau5 was coming to one of our ELISA auditoriums and remixed the stuff to have it exactly as a setup.
Maybe you should explain what the LAcoustics auditorium is.
Oh, and the ELISA
to
auditorium
make
is
it short.
something we have come across with that somebody, if you have set up, you can set up like in its demo room. It's for ELISA, which has the possibility to set up a show. It's not only to demonstrate to clients, it's a possibility to set up and mix something there. And then you take your mix and your setup and you transport it into the venue you do. So you don't have to rehearse all the time in the venue. You can do all the audio tracking or sound and whatever you would like to in that ELISA auditorium, which should be available at our distributor soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we have several auditoriums, like in Paris, in London, New York, because of all the theater productions there. We have Los Angeles, and now we have one in Moscow, another one in Asia, and in Czech Republic. And we are working on more auditoria soon. So this is maybe something interesting when you would like to check how you could produce your portfolio or your songs or your show. Then you can make a mix, and then you will see immediately the difference, and then probably you will decide for ELISA instead of stereo. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Right, so now we have a listening example we're going to play to, which is a band in a club in Paris. It's more acoustical pop, and that's fully ELISA track. I would say sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thank you very much for your time. So, if you wonder why the songs are too long, because we are a sound company and they said we are talking too much, so you should listening more to the music. We would like to thank you to Photosound, to Audio Plus, and to Stage of Tomorrow or Scena Jutra for the invitation and the possibility to present our technology. We also had a show earlier this year or end of last year with the company Target Sound, who was also produced in L-ISA sound. So, and for those like him who's now running out of the venue, who saw the Mark Knopfler or the Preisner show, on our website you can find also many other shows which are tours who are coming to Poland or other countries as well. So we will be here till tomorrow evening, just in case you would like to have a meeting with us or having questions. We would be very happy to meet you and talking to you. So.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for Target Sound for the L-ISA processor as well. I would like to thank all the crew, of course, the lighting department, the video department, and last but not least, our sound department up there. Thank you very much for everything. And I will be with him available for question and answer. I think it's Q&A in 1 minute here. Is that correct?
It's pretty soon. But I have a question now to you, because how do you think, in a period of 30 years from now, is there anything more to achieve in the field that you are on? Is there any more to discover in
do you mean
hyper-realistic sound that you
Well,
present?
actually, this is just the beginning. So we just started with a launch just 2 years ago. So, but we worked on that for many years already. So that is actually the reason why Christian Heil started working in the sound reinforcement. So we have plenty of ideas, and I would say this is just the beginning. And for those who have now childs or becoming childs in a few years, they will never go to a stereo show from my point of view. Maybe in small parts of the world, but in theaters, musicals, or Broadway productions, this will be the future, for sure.
Can't wait. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.